What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I want to do a deep dive into the Bulls' win over the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday, where they won 116 to 112. And overall, my takeaway was that Bulls fans have some great news and actually have some optimism heading into the season from very limited action from what I saw yesterday. But before we dive into the stats and the takeaways, you guys need to help us reach 10,000 subscribers here on the channel. We just need 27 more of you guys, 27 more subs, and we cross over a massive milestone here at the channel. So hit that subscribe button to help us out. If you guys want to stay up to date around the latest around your favorite basketball team, hit that sub button. But the Bulls overall yesterday, they dropped 116 points, 24 assists, 59 rebounds yesterday. They weren't the most efficient from the field, 46 of 109, but the fact that you are putting up 109 shots, I think that speaks to Josh Giddey and this new feel that we have offensively. But from downtown, the struggles continue. I mean, the Bulls have been one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA over the last couple of years, and yesterday it was more of the same, 8 of 40 from deep. But let's dive into some player stats here. So Zach LaVine did get the start, played around 15 minutes yesterday. He had 7 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 3 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from downtown. And I will say my biggest gripe with Bulls fans, and maybe it's just a couple of guys I follow on Twitter, but LaVine will have a big time move or just put a ball, make a basket, and then everybody's gonna start tweeting out like, "Oh, Bulls fans, you want an apology to Zach LaVine, yada yada yada." Listen, LaVine can go out and average 30 points a game for the first month of the season. It does not change my stance personally on what I think the Bulls should do with him. Personally, I hope LaVine goes out there and averages 30 a game, and then that will up his trade value. Then the Bulls get more draft capital back in a LaVine trade. So LaVine, I'm rooting for you to ball out, because if he balls out, the Bulls will get a better trade package. No doubt about it. But LaVine, he actually looked pretty good yesterday, so no complaints there. Patrick Williams, even though the stats aren't going to blow you away, I actually thought he played good. He was very, very aggressive in this ball game. Only had 4 points, 3 rebounds, whatever there. But he was 2 of 6 from the field. He actually had, I think it was the 5th most shots taken, or 2nd most shots taken in like the first quarter yesterday. I forget the stat exactly, but I like seeing him being aggressive. Now, another big reason why I want to trade LaVine is because if you reduce LaVine's shots and you take away those, 15 to 20 he's going to get on a game basis, and you give more to Patrick Williams, that's going to help his development. And I think as NBA fans, we all think like, oh, these guys are going to develop in the offseason. Like, that's when they're going to take their jumps. And yes, that is true. But also I believe that a lot of that development will come with live in-game action. Like, very good example, Kobe White last year. He took that leap. You know why? Because LaVine was out of the lineup. He was able to get more shots and a higher usage rate. So I'm hopefully, the same happens for Patrick Williams. But got to talk about Nikola Vucevic, man. Stats look good. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 6 of 10. This dude is a walking double-double. But still yesterday, he was terrible on defense, getting picked on in the pick and roll. I mean, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell were just coming off those pick and rolls, and they saw Vooch in that drop coverage, or if he was hedging the screen, and they were just cooking him clear out, flatten out, and it was an easy bucket every time. So, Vooch, he will average 18 and 10 for the rest of his NBA career. He is still a net negative out there on the basketball court. He drives me crazy, and if I see him take more than 3 3-pointers in a game this season, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't know who in this Bulls coaching staff gave him the green light to shoot threes. He was a 29% three-point shooter last year on like 5 attempts a game. Stop taking them. You don't hit them. It is a waste of a possession every single time he touches a basketball. But, let's get to some positivity here. I was about to blow a freaking gasket talking there about Vooch. But, Kobe White looked the part again, man. 21 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He just looked very smooth. He looked very comfortable. And I actually think him and Josh Giddey, I'll admit, like offensively, that combination of those two look good. You are going to have your, lapses defensively, as both these guys aren't the best defenders. But the one thing I will say, you actually felt the size of the Bulls when Giddey and Kobe White were out there on the floor. I mean, Kobe's 6'5", Giddey's 6'7", 6'8". Like, even though they aren't the best, defenders, they're not that physical, but like still just having that size on the basketball court, just getting hands in passing lanes, like that really, really does help. But if I had to give a game ball to anybody, it would probably go to Ayo Dosunmu. He came in the game off the bench and he was a lightning rod. He had like a steal, a dunk, and a 3 in like his first 4 plays of that game. I thought he looked really good, and we'll talk about it later, but I think Ayo is going to get 30-plus minutes a game this season. But another young guy, Julian Phillips, I thought he looked good yesterday. 9 points, 4 rebounds, didn't have an assist, but I will admit his athleticism was shown out there. Like, I think with Julian Phillips, like we all know he's a hyper athlete, but I like when I see these guys defensively, use their athletic ability and, you match that with the hustle, he will be a good defender in the NBA. It's just going to come down to that 3-point shot. If he can become a good catch and shoot 3-point shooter, obviously that'll change life for this team. But let's talk about my favorite pickup of this offseason, even over Josh Giddey, Jalen Smith. This dude is a stud. He's not going to be an all-star ever in his NBA career. I don't think he'll ever be all-NBA, but I think he could be a really solid starter on a championship team. And yesterday, double-double, looked pretty good. But let's talk about the rookie, Modest Buzelis. Man, did he look the part. It was funny. The Cleveland Cavaliers guards like Mitchell and Garland, they just kept trying to go one-on-one with him consistently, and Buzelis tossed a couple of their shots into the third row. He moved his feet very well, and you feel his length. And I've already seen him starting to put on muscle, which is great news because that's going to help him offensively and defensively. But he looked fantastic. Dalen Terry, typical hustle game from him. Dalen Terry's one of those dudes. He just brings it every time he's out there on the basketball court. Yes, maybe the skill isn't up to par as like a true starter in the NBA, but his hustle, his intensity, I absolutely love it. But how about hometown kid Taylor Horton-Tucker? Thought he looked pretty good yesterday. He was trying to get in the game, get his own, and, I got to respect it. But, 8 points, 4 boards, 3 assists for him. And then Bidham, OB. Didn't get a whole lot of tick yesterday. I don't think he's going to be in the rotation whatsoever, but he was out there. And then DJ Stewart, not a lot of minutes for him yesterday as well. But, I thought he looked good. I thought he played with a lot of heart, a lot of hustle out there. But there's one guy that I don't think the Bulls should. Honestly, I would cut him from the roster. Chris Duarte. I think this is a waste of a roster spot. I would rather have this go to a younger guy with more potential. He's a terrible defender. Some people are trying to get at me saying Duarte's a good defender. I saw him get blown by about 15 times yesterday. He didn't really do much. And then Sanogo didn't get any tick yesterday. But I'm hoping the Bulls get him back in the rotation. Like, I wouldn't mind a Sanogo, Jalen Smith center rotation if you're able to trade Vooch. Because, 1, that means you're probably going to lose a lot of games. And 2, means you're trading Vooch off this roster. But you guys let me know. Comment your thoughts down below. What is your biggest takeaway from the Bulls game yesterday? I'll give you guys mine here in just a second. But, first off, I do want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. If you guys download the PrizePicks app, use promo code CLNS. You guys will get $50 instantly when you play $5, and you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Now, what is PrizePicks? PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Now, here's an example of a lineup I'm rolling with for Thursday night football tomorrow. I got 3 picks that'll pay out $105 on only a $15 power play. I'm going to ride with Brandon Ayuk. I'm going to take the less on his receiving yards, and I think his running mate, Debo, I think he's going to get most of the action. Then I also got DK Metcalf finding the end zone, whether that's rushing or receiving. But if you guys download the PrizePicks app today, use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first dollar lineup. PrizePicks, it adds so much more juice, adds so much more entertainment value to whatever game you are watching. So please give it a chance. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Give $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, top takeaways here. Buzelis. Let's start off with him because that was my number one takeaway. He just looked the part. Now, I think with his game, I don't think he's going to be the most efficient basketball player year one. He has an NBA skill set, but I just think with him getting more comfortable, and it's almost like a double-edged sword with Buzelis, where it's like he knows he can get to a shot pretty much whenever, but just creating that extra inch of separation, that's going to come with his development in the NBA. But the fact that he's able to get there and he's already a plus defender, I mean, he might even be a better defender than what I thought. And I thought he had all NBA type of potential once he reaches the prime of his career. But it was fantastic watching him play. We actually have a young guy that I'm very excited to watch play throughout this entire season. But off the bench, Ayo, I think he has to play 30 minutes a night. And I think he will. This guard room is extremely heavy. And, Lonzo wasn't in the lineup yesterday, so maybe that will change a little bit of it. But, Giddey, Ayo, in my opinion, they should probably play the same amount of minutes. Now, obviously, Giddey will start. He'll run with the ones a whole lot more, but I love the combination of Io and Kobe White. One defensive-minded, one offensive-minded. It's kind of a yin and yang, and I think their games complement each other very, very well. But talking about the offense, it just felt different. I mean, the Bulls put up 109 shots yesterday. That's credit to your future franchise point guard, Josh Giddey. They play with a better tempo. They play with just more efficient basketball. And the one thing I liked, they were beating guys off the dribble left and right. And that is so huge because you get the defense in rotation, creates more open shots. So shout out to Josh Giddey, on that one. But Vooch and LaVine, they need to go. I'm still in my camp on this. Like, you have all these young guys. Almost yesterday's game, even though LaVine had a couple shots, Vooch gave his, typical waste of a double-double. But, like, you got all these young guys, Buzelis, Io, Giddey, Kobe, get those guys more touches. Let them develop. Get these kind of, black hole with the basketball, where the ball just goes to them, all movement stops, and it's just one-on-one. Get them off the team. Like, I don't care what it takes. I don't care if you get no picks back. Just get them off this basketball team. And, it gets me this last one. And honestly, number 4 kind of relays to number 5, because if you are able to move Vooch and LaVine, Kobe White could actually average 25, 26 a game this year. I talked about Kobe taking that Tyrese Maxey second jump, where Maxey was averaging 20, got it up to like 26, 27 a game, and we really saw him flourish without Embiid in the lineup. Let's have the same thing with Kobe. Could you imagine next free agency period, the Bulls could be sitting there saying, hey, we got a point guard in Giddey. We got a great guard off the bench in Io. We got a young wing in Buzelis. Patrick Williams maybe takes a step. Jalen Smith looks like a good center. Then you got a legit second option on a championship team, potentially in Kobe White. I still think his peak is probably more around a third on a title team. But, if he takes another jump, maybe you could convince a superstar, if they're hitting free agency, to come here. Maybe in the trade market, they demand a trade to Chicago. But, hey, if you guys made it to the end of today's show, give me a C red down below in the comment section so I can see where all the real ones are at. And then also, I'm on Twitter, @PatSeeps. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. But see you guys next time. Go Bulls.